It is so bright. There's so much glare. Oh my goodness. Okay, whatever. It's 1 o'clock, Saturday. I leave 2 weeks and a Sunday, and then the next day I'm gone. That's not a lot of time. So maybe I will take some inventory of what is going on. What is going on? What is ever going on? I'm leaving for the Air Force. Am I excited? Yeah, actually. I actually kind of am excited. What am I excited about? Maybe it's gonna be warmer in Texas, but maybe it'll be a little too warm later because I am going to be there from December, like mid-December, until most likely next November. If I did the math correct on how long I'll be in tech school. Why am I joining the Air Force? Should I talk about my entire life story? Let's talk about my career life story. Let's talk about the careers. The career is so much fun. I don't know if I talked about it before. Who cares? I'm talking about it again. So once upon a time, I wanted to be, well, actually, for all of time, time's existence. Okay, let's start back in school. I was always pretty good at school, academically, whatnot. I always had good grades, elementary, middle, high school. Even in college, I graduated summa cum laude. I had pretty good grades. That's besides the point. But I never really knew what I wanted to do with it. Oh my goodness, get a load of this guy. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I experienced a lot of stuff throughout. I'm 22. Okay, I'm 22. Let's get that straight. I think a lot of my developmental years were in high school. Believe it or not, that's like when you become most conscious, I think. Of course, you're conscious at some point. Who knows when you become conscious? I recall being conscious at least 6th grade. That's the start of middle school. I'm like all over the place. Okay. But anyway, so I went through a lot of school. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I think when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a veterinarian and then work on the silly animals. But then I learned that you're gonna have to put people's animals down. And while I guess with a more mature mindset, I know now that that's probably like the right thing to do in some situations, little kid me was not ready to face that idea. So even though of course the whole point is to help people's animals, but I don't know, that dream died when at some point in time like that. And then in high school, let's circle back on that. Is that like some corporate stuff? Whatever. And then, okay, let's just say I graduated high school, and then I didn't know what I wanted to do, and all my friends and everybody I knew was applying to like colleges and gonna go move out and whatever and whatnot. But I don't know. I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and to me it seemed like such a bad idea to just spend my parents' money on. I'm privileged enough to say that yeah, they would have paid for my college. It felt like a bad idea to spend their money on a course or a degree that I don't even know if I would like. And of course, there's a train of thought that there's only one way to find out, and it's by doing it. But I felt like I am willing to go the very financially, I guess, responsible route, and that was just go to community college, and I'll figure it out there. I also had a scholarship from my high school, unless it's like the state or whatever the frick, I don't know, because I had a pretty good GPA in high school. They were gonna pay for like pretty much all of community college, not including like random fees, but all the tuition was paid. I only had to pay like a couple hundred maybe per semester or something a pretty decently small amount. And I remember my first semester, I was like, what am I gonna study? At first, okay, we're gonna circle back to high school. I recall high school being such a developmental time because I started to feel really like aware, you know? That's when kids start, figuring out stuff. I wanted to be an English teacher. And I thought that would be really cool because I could talk to people and then I could talk to the kids, the teenagers, the high schoolers. Oh my goodness, not in a weird way. But I feel like it's such an interesting time of development. I thought that maybe I could do some good in there and it would be fun. I could share life experiences or whatever. Maybe I just had a good experience in high school. A lot of the teachers that I had, I did like. I think the first teacher I ended up not liking, we're gonna get to that, was in college. Um, for the most part, I really enjoyed school. I still do enjoy school. I'm not in school right now, but I love the idea of school. And so as a result, I wanted to be an English teacher. And in my head, that sounded really cool. But then everybody told me that they don't make any money. So I decided to not do that. And I don't regret it because maybe in the future I'll do that. Who knows, whatever. And I'm like, okay, fine. Then what should I do? I was talking to my mom. And I didn't know this, but she told me that she wanted me to be an accountant. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever that means. And then I studied business administration for one semester. I wasn't bad at it. It was okay. I was like, whatever. I was willing to stick it out if it was just interesting enough. And it was interesting enough. However, this was also during COVID. I had this accounting teacher whom I really did not like. I thought she taught way too quickly. Nobody in the class really understood what she was talking about. And it was just an overall terrible experience. And it was a disaster. And I thought that if I'm going to have to go to accounting 2 for the next semester, I am barely going to know what's going on. And I'm not about to deal with that. So I'm like, whatever. Let's think about something else. Also back in high school, oh my goodness, it always comes back to high school, doesn't it? I remember my little side hustle before I got like a real job. My real job was fast food. And that was senior year spring when I decided to not do track and field that year, not semester, my goodness, because it was COVID. Oh, I started getting into sneaker reselling when sneakers and hype beast stuff was all the rage, and I made a decent amount of money. I was selling stuff, a couple $100, whatnot. And I remember, this is a really crazy, like, I guess butterfly effect kind of thing if you think about it. I was really in it for the money, right? Sorry, like, I didn't really care about the clothes or the sneakers or whatever. I just wanted to make money off these people. But I remember this one time, and many years down the road, I guess the price like went back up. I guess I forgot. It was a while since I checked. The Yeezy 350 V2 cream whites were restocking it. I'm like, oh my goodness! This is the first time I was trying, by the way. Now is it? Maybe this was the first time. I'm not sure, but I think it was. I was like, wow, I'm gonna buy them off the restock and then I'm gonna resell them and I'm gonna make so much money. I bought them, but it turns out that was when they restocked like a bajillion of them. So then the resale value was not very good. So then it turns out that I would be losing money if I resold them through like StockX. And I'm like, oh man, how unlucky. And then but the thing is, I buy them in my size just in case. And I'm like, wow, I guess that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna just wear them. And that is what started my interest in actually caring about what I looked. that was the beginning of whatever. And I'm like, oh my goodness, clothes are actually really cool. Wow, how interesting. So, wow, clothes are really cool. That's really awesome. I love this. That was very fun. That was a very interesting, my first dive into self-expression, even though it was not necessarily self-expression because I was just copying what was popular. But that's just how it is. That's just how it starts, I don't feel bad about that. So, back to after first semester at community college, I was like, I'm gonna switch my major. I'm gonna study fashion design. And I did that, and I completed and then I completed my associate's degree after like 2 years, I believe, 2 years worth of semesters. I don't remember, because I started that in the spring after my fall semester in which I studied business. And I really went in not knowing what was going on. I really went in not knowing that I was gonna have to, go to the fabric store and buy fabric and learn how to use the sewing machine and learn how to draw. I still suck at drawing and stuff like that. But it was such an adventure. It was so interesting. As a person who doesn't personally find myself, I don't really identify myself as a creative person. I think maybe in elementary, middle school, I was really into art class. And it was really cool, but I never focused on it. Not that I was ever really any good at it, but I guess I think I did. I guess I used to have some sort of an eye for it. But I think deep down, I'm like, whatever. Let me focus on academics or something that is non-creative, not creatively related. And I don't know, maybe I lost it. Maybe it's hiding there somewhere deep down for me, but I guess somewhere else deep down, some insecure part of me is like, oh, everybody who knows how to draw already knows how to draw, and you're never gonna learn. And that's probably incorrect and also hindering my own progress that I could be making. So, I mean, I guess at least I'm aware of it, but I should really work on that. So then I learned that, and that was really cool. And I'm like, I finished my associate's degree. I'm like, I want to go to FIT and continue my fashion design degree. I get waitlisted. And then eventually they reject me, saying that there's too many applicants and that they're not going to reach my application in time. And then I was like freaking out because I'm like, bro, what the frick is this? So I was like kind of tweaking out. I was going crazy because what do you mean there's too many applicants? I don't know. I can find the exact email. I thought it was really stupid. But at the same time, I'm like, well, we'll see what happens. Who knows what I'm going to do? And at the time, I am dating this girl. And she's Filipino. I'm Filipino. Filipino people love becoming nurses. That's just the thing. It's not crazy to say. Like her older sister was a nurse, her parents were nurses. I'm like, wow, that's so interesting. And then I know that the nursing program at the community college is pretty good. They say that you can make, let's say, $80K right out of nursing school. After, I forgot how many years it is. Some like a year or two, and then clinicals, and then you're making $80K. I'm like, that's not bad. That doesn't sound bad at all. So then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna study nursing. I studied nursing for 1 semester, and it was really cool. I thought it was really great. It was actually really awesome. I felt so academic. I felt so studious. I managed to hold on to my super duper good GPA. Oh my goodness. And I feel like I hadn't studied like that in a really long time. It really challenged me academically, and I thought it was awesome. But deep down, I wanted to study fashion design again. I'm like, wow, I really miss making clothes, even though I'm super burned out and I don't even know if I want to make clothes. And also, I'm scared of AI taking all the jobs. I wanted to do that again. So that was really fun. So that was what was going through my head. I wanted to do that again. And I'm like, college is expensive. I'm going to get, oh my goodness. Okay, so I don't even know how I got the idea to join the Air Force because, my brother has a friend who went to the Air Force. I don't even know what's going on with him, but my parents were telling me about that, and I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. I don't know if I want to do the military because I have a friend who's in the Navy, and he would tell me about his maintenance job. He does helicopters or something. And he's talking about how physically demanding it is, and I'm like, wow, that's so interesting. I do not want to do that because I work fast food. I worked fast food, and I'm like, I hate these manual jobs. I do not want to do stuff like that anymore, and I guess something like that is not in my interest. Is not interesting. It's not part of what I want to do. Oh my goodness. So I'm like, I don't even know if I want to join the freaking military. But the thing is, oh my goodness, let's go back to high school. When I got out of high school, low-key, there were these freaking Marines. Okay, so when I would work at Auntie Anne's, oh my goodness, I'm probably giving out too much information. You probably figure out where everything is. So I worked at Auntie Anne's, I worked at fast food, and then there's there's a main store and there's a little kiosk store, which we would ship pretzels through a cart, and we would take it to the kiosk. And then one person would just sit at the kiosk and they'd sell pretzels over there, but the pretzels were all made over here. That's where all the other people were. And they'd be here. And then you'd just be alone up there. One time these freaking Marines, dude, these freaking Marines in New Jersey, dude, they all they do is walk up to you and then ask you if you want to join the Marines or whatever. Dude, I would see them everywhere. They'd be at high school events, they'd be at college, they'd just be doing whatever, but they have a really strong presence in the area that I'm in. So I think they're just talking to me like, oh, hey, have you ever thought about joining the military, Marines? And low-key, they almost got me. They almost did. But I don't know. I guess last second I was like, I want to go to college. But there was a lot of things that was appealing to me about that. Because when I was in high school, oh my goodness, high school, I was part of a few teams. I was on cross country, I was on the fencing team, I was on the track team. And I really enjoyed primarily fencing team. That was like my thing, you know what I mean? That was the first sport I've ever did in my life, and it was in high school. And I met a lot of awesome people there. That's how I met a lot of the people that I know today, and we're still really good friends. And honestly, a lot of the connections that I know today still are some way, shape, or form through that team. And it was really awesome. And I'm like, I really liked the idea of being part of a team. And in my head, maybe the military is like that because you're like part of this collective. I like listening to a leader. I like taking orders. I don't mind not being at the top. It's cool. I like being a part of something. My goodness, I guess that's how you put it. And so that was partially what appealed to me about joining the military back in the day. But ultimately I didn't do it because I think at the time my desire to go to college was a bit stronger, even though I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do. Yeah, fast forward to after my little semester at nursing, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do now? And then, I don't even know, Air Force gets brought up. I'm like, wait, apparently that's the easy one. I guess I could do that. It seems, the peacefulest. It seems like you have the most comfortable life. And honestly, I do not care about being the toughest person in the room. I want the benefits and call it a day. And the Air Force seems like the easiest path to that. And so I guess that's kind of where my career is now. Ship out in 2 weeks. And I'm going to be living by myself. I have never lived by myself. Well, not by myself, but like, away from my parents, away from home. I didn't get to dorm in college. I'm kind of looking forward to it. It sounds fun. I'm going to have my own paychecks, even though I had paychecks in here, but that's not the same. I don't know. It seems like a whole new life to live, and maybe it's gonna suck, maybe it's gonna be awesome. I don't know. I'm open to whatever the world throws at me. There were some jobs I wanted to do, some jobs that interested me. My first job my primary job that I thought would be interesting would be cryptologic language analyst, which is the one where you like learn a language. I don't know, you get out of there knowing a new language, and the school is like 2 years long. I'm like, wow, that's kind of a long time. But I didn't get that job. I got 1N831, unless it's 1N8X1. I don't know what any of that means, but that's the job that I got. The Intel job. I guess I just wanted an Intel job. Whatever that means. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'm gonna read papers all day. Maybe I'm gonna look at satellites. I don't know. But I kind of miserably failed the colorblind test at MEPS. So that immediately disqualified me from a lot of jobs. They really wanted me to do special warfare. If I was to do special warfare, the one job that I was interested in was EOD, and it's so funny. I talked to a bunch of other people, and they were like, man, if I'm doing special warfare, the one job I don't want is EOD. I'm like, man, I don't know. Maybe I play too much Counter-Strike. Maybe it's actually a really terrifying and deathly terrifying job. I bet it is, but I don't know. It seems interesting. And not even the fact that they had like a big bonus, but I don't know. They don't want the colorblind people doing that one, I guess. So yeah, I'm doing that, and then oh my goodness, I won't lie, I got a 99 on the ASVAB. This is the only time I'm gonna get to flex about that, I guess. Yeah, so that is a lot of the stuff that led me to where I am today. I guess most of the story. I don't know. It feels like being so close to leaving. I really feel like it feels like, not that I'm dying, but like it feels like, wow, I really should do all the things that I want to do now before I never get a chance to do them ever again. Not ever again, but like for a long time. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm squandering my days, considering how little time I have left with them. Some days I feel really good, you know what I mean? But sometimes you know what? It makes me really happy to get outside of the house. I love being outside of the house. Sometimes I spend my entire day inside of the. Oh my goodness! I gotta. I freaking spent like almost 10 hours, I think, of screen time on my phone because I reinstalled Instagram one day, and I'm like, wow, it's like I really needed to do this one day. That was early this week. But that's just because I was sad and I was trying to figure out some way to distract myself. And I've actually have not uninstalled Instagram at the moment, but I should uninstall that. So it really makes me want to make the most out of my time. That the fact that I don't have a lot of it left here at home, and some days I do that. Some days I feel good about my time usage, and some days I don't. But I really do enjoy the time I get to spend with my friends because I'm not gonna see them for a long time, and I'm really happy to be around. It's very nice. I'm sure I'm gonna meet a lot of new people in the Air Force, and I'm looking forward to that. And I am pretty excited about the future. Hopefully it doesn't suck. I guess that's it.